Okay, so let's look at your setup here now. Again, I asked a question to you before we did the changes. Which was your long shot setup, which is your short shot setup. Hopefully now you can see, based on these two images now, which is your short shot setup.
Yeah.
Based on the feet being a bit narrower, just being generally closer. If I'm honest, potentially we could make it a little bit narrower there, but you're certainly getting a lot closer than what you were on this left hand when we had a full width of stance there.
Yeah.
And a full setup, okay? So for me, it's about doing things at setup that are going to reduce the power you can create.
Yeah.
Okay? You know this pitching wedge you had down here, we'll say, just for ease of our maths, goes about 75 yards. Okay? So if you're setting up fully, okay, you're setting up now for a 75-yard shot, but your target was around about sort of 40 or 50 yards.
Yeah.
Okay? Then as you went back, okay, you were going back for me a little bit further than you want to, so you were still creating some in the region of sort of 65, 70 yards.
Yeah.
So once you've got yourself back here now with all this power, as you come back to the golf ball, you've got to try and reduce about 15, 20% of power.
Yeah.
Tough to do. And what that generally will involve, okay, because you can see there now, because you made a sort of fairly fullish movement, if we look at the centre part of your chest, if I draw a line straight down there, that's pretty much underneath the peak of your cap, maybe a little bit more favourable, I suppose, in terms of where your sternum is. You're probably more there, okay? That is where your low point of the golf is going to be. Now, if you're trying to reduce the power, the last thing you're going to want to do now is move that direction. You know by moving to target, you're going to get some power and give it a good hit. However, we don't want power, and your brain has suddenly got this message from your arms been back this far going, hang on, quick, calm down, hold the phone, back out of this shot, exactly. So what's going to happen now is one or two things. Either you'll try, so you can see your head sort of leaning back now. As you come to the golf ball now, your golf club is going to be bottoming out somewhere around about here where your sternum is, okay? Now, if you're behind the golf ball at impact, especially these wedges, your club now is going to be working an awful lot up this way, which is going to result in that scoop. Okay, and when you start scooping the golf ball, you kind of thin the golf ball across the ground like an absolute rocket, which in turn then gets it more of an issue from a distance point of view of going too far. If your first pitch into the first green, to say, is 50 yards and you fizz it across the back of the green like a rocket, your next shot, maybe on the third or the fourth hole, you're going, oh God, the last one way too far. You'll probably do exactly the same thing, set up the same full, go back too far, and then the last second think, oh crikey, either stick the club in the ground or just quit on it so much the ball dribbles about 20 yards on the floor. Okay? So the thing for me with pitching, with all these kind of shots, is for most people, okay, is getting yourself and the hands and the golf club and the body, not the golf club, sorry, but the hands and the body right or nearer the target than the golf ball. Yeah? And then with a narrower stance now as you go back, okay, now about there is about your 50-yard shot. You go back sort of halfway-ish or so, 2/3 give or take, all right? So from there you're able to now accelerate the golf club through, okay, getting back, club now bottoming out at the golf ball there, okay? Sternum is a little bit behind the ball still. I mean, that's probably close, you know, it's probably at the ball rather than behind it, okay? But certainly a better strike, and then through to, again, a fullish acceleration through, but because you had a smaller backswing, you just can't go too far. You're just like a catapult. If you only pull a catapult back so far, you can't throw it faster. Okay, you pull it back and create the distance and just release. Same with the golf club. You just swing the club back as far as the desired power you want, and then just accelerate through. So the way to remember all these different shots, this is something you'll build up over time, and you can do this on a drive in terms of practice. If the club doesn't move, stays there, 6 o'clock we'll say, the ball goes 0 yards. In our case as lefties, if we go back to 5 o'clock, it might go 10 yards. 4 o'clock, it'll go 20 yards. 30 yards. 40, 50, whatever it may be, all these different numbers halfway around the swing. So depending on where you stop on that kind of side of the clock face is going to relate to some distances. Now at the moment, if we're honest, there's a bit of a guess there. Okay?
100%.
But over time, you'll start realising somewhere in kind of this area, sort of midway back, shall we say, is about 40-ish, 50-yard shot. Okay? Somewhere in this area is about a 15, 20-yard shot. We know some of those are going to be sort of 70, 75. As you get better, those numbers will become more and more precise. Because A, you'll be striking the ball better, and B, you'll be more aware of keeping these numbers in your head. At the moment now, it's, oh God, it's gone too far, it's gone too short. Rather than, okay, was it too far a swing? Was it because the contact's all over the place, okay? Then, and this is with the pitching wedge, wasn't the first couple? Then we can add another club into the mix, the sandine. Okay, the same length backswing with a sandine compared to a pitching wedge will go less distance. Whereas the same length backswing with an 8-iron will go more distance. Okay, so you get different trajectories, different heights, and different shots. So then after a while, you're going to start getting a load of different swings and different numbers from sort of 50, 60 yards and in, and have a complete variety of shots. So you can stand there and go, okay, right, for this shot, for example, I want a low running shot because the contours are quite slopey. I don't want the ball coming down and landing on a hard, so in the middle of summer when the ground sort of concrete, a ball landing on that and just bouncing off, playing down the, is it the 8th at Wenver, the sort of downhill par 4 towards the hedges?
That's it, yeah.
You come down in the summer and you land a sand line from up there, it's in the hedge. So it might be easy to play a sort of softer, more running shot. There's nothing in the way in front of the greens there. You can land it 20 yards short. Yeah. But it's coming in a little bit flatter, a bit more softer with some run, rather than coming in from a height and coming down a hard fairway that's angled like this. Yeah. And then disappearing off in the back of the green. So it's going to give you so many more different shots to your disposal, rather than just like, okay, I've got a short shot, I'll set up full, I'll do a full backswing, then panic, scoop on it, as you said, and hope for the best. And if the ball's standing a nice fluffy bit in the rough, you might get away with it. Yeah. And then probably 2 out of 10 times around the golf, you've got that lie, you play this technique, and it does come off okay. I've got it.
But it's 2 out of 10.
Exactly. And the 8 out of 10 are either whizzed across the back of the green or stubbed just in front of you. And I say, if you can remember, so I'll put the video now to remind you, if you can remember next time you play, you're playing tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah, we're playing tomorrow night. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. If you keep score with your full score, no matter whatever you do, okay, but with the 50, 60 yard sort of distance and in, whenever you start playing a shot on any given hole from that distance where it's not a putt, okay, you keep score of how many shots it takes you to get the ball in the hole. Okay, so if you're 50 yards around the first and you knock it on the green, you 2-putt, you got 3. If on the second you miss the green long left, for example, and you do a small little chip on the green, you hold the putt to 2. Okay, if on the third you've got 70 yards to go and you knock it in the bunker and then duff on the green, then 3, that's a 5. Yeah. So you keep score from that kind of 50, 60, 70 yards. Yeah. Whenever you think you're standing going, this is not a full shot. Yeah. Okay? Now, it may take a bit of thought to remember these times, and if you don't remember, it's not a problem. If you can remember to do maybe half of them, then great. Yeah. At least get an average for the ones you do. Yeah. And just see where you're at in terms of your average, okay? Ideally speaking, you're aiming to try and get between sort of 3, 3.5. Yeah. Okay? If you can get under that, fantastic. More often than most guys sort of in the 4-ish range, which doesn't sound a lot, half a shot more. If you're playing that shot 14 times around, half a shot off 4 is 7 shots gone. So 106 now is 99 done. Yeah. Without doing anything, really, apart from just hitting a few shots onto a green from 50 yards, which realistically, if anyone's going to ask the question, what's easier? Hit a 200-yard shot dead straight on a par 4 or par 5, or chip onto a 50-yard green? Yeah. I know what I take.
Yeah, and that's what's been pleasing but frustrating in the last couple of rounds.
Exactly, yeah. Good stuff. Okay, mate? Right.